Why do cultures express emotions differently? Imagine two friends from different parts of the world. One openly shares feelings, while the other keeps emotions tucked away. Why do they behave so differently? It all comes down to how cultures shape emotional expression. Cultures influence how people show their feelings because of shared norms, values, and ways of communicating. These social rules decide when and how emotions should be displayed. Some cultures prioritize group harmony and discourage showing strong feelings openly. Others value individual honesty and encourage expressing emotions freely. A big factor is whether a culture is high context or low context. High context cultures like Japan, China, and Saudi Arabia relying on subtle cues and indirect communication. They often hide intense emotions to keep social peace. For example, in Japan, people distinguish between hane, which are true feelings, and tatheme, which are public behaviors. They might hide personal feelings to avoid conflict. On the other hand, low-context cultures like the United States, Germany, and Australia prefer directness. People openly share their happiness, anger, or sadness without much hesitation. Another aspect is how strongly emotions are felt inside. Some cultures experience high arousal emotions like excitement or anger more intensely and show them openly. Others, like many Asian cultures, tend to feel calmer and more relaxed, expressing emotions in a more subdued way. This internal experience influences outward behavior and how emotions are regulated. Cultural rules called display rules also play a role. These rules tell people when and where to show certain feelings. For instance, some cultures discourage showing negative emotions in public to maintain social order. Collectivist societies often promote emotions that support group cohesion, sometimes limiting individual emotional displays. Conversely, individualistic cultures support expressing personal feelings honestly and openly. Power distance, which is how much a society accepts unequal social hierarchies, also affects emotional expression. In cultures with high power distance, showing negative feelings to someone in a higher position may be frowned upon. Cultures that emphasize masculinity often discourage vulnerability and negative emotions to uphold ideas of strength and toughness. Understanding these cultural differences helps us communicate better across borders. For example, someone from a high-context culture might see direct emotional expressions as rude, while someone from a low-context culture might see subtlety as evasive. Recognizing these patterns makes interactions smoother and more respectful. In short, how cultures express emotions is shaped by social norms, communication styles, values about individualism or collectivism, and rules about emotional regulation. These factors influence not just outward displays but also how feelings are experienced inside. Emotions are deeply embedded in cultural context, making emotional regulation a fascinating part of human behavior.